Hi friends, I'm sick, but I want to read. So welcome to my sick reading vlog. If you are new here, hi, my name is Kim. I am an author illustrator, and here on this channel I like to create content that is related to books, lifestyle, and just all around cozy things. You caught me on not a very good video because I am sick. I got the flu, but it's okay. I got some water, I got my tissue paper. I am Mexican, so in every Mexican household you need some vaporú. I got my chapstick because all I could do is breathe through my mouth and my lips get so dry. I got the medicine. I got my Kindle, and all I want to do is, what do the kids call it these days? Rot in bed. I'm hoping that the real medicine here is just reading some really good books. So I'm hoping that by just reading, I can fully recover. So I'm gonna be having a rot in bed day. I think I've seen that on TikTok where people are just choosing to have like rot in bed days where all they do is just stay in their beds. And I need to have one of those because since I got sick, I've been kind of working, and I just need to have a day where I just don't do anything at all and I just rest. So that is what today is going to be all about. I just got out of the shower. I have no makeup on because I am all mocosa. I have a whole bunch of boogers and I keep blowing my nose, so hence bare face. I've been currently reading Blood Debts on my Kindle. Blood Debts? Blood Debts. Blood Debts. I always have such a hard time with saying blood debts because my Spanish wants to come out in my English, and I don't know, it's just weird. That book is part of my February TBR, and talk about family drama and family feuds. I have been enjoying it so far. It is based in New Orleans. It has magic, it has witches. It's giving me all the things that I love. I'm 30% into the book, so I'm hoping I can get past 50% today, because the other book I really want to start is That Time I Got Drunk and Saved a Demon by Kimberly Lemming. I want to get to that book so bad. My sister is reading it and I want to buddy read it with her, but she already started her copy, and that's another book that's on my list to read this month. So you're gonna see me start that book in this video. I am so excited for it. Also, I have been getting so many Kindle ads that are like right on the cusp of books I want to read. You know those ads on Kindle, if you have a Kindle, it like sometimes it recommends books to you based on the books that you already read on your Kindle. You guys, that's dangerous because I already bought 2 on my Kindle yesterday. One was, 99 cents and the other one was like $4, but be careful because I know those add up. So friends, let's get started on a day of just rotting in bed. That pretty much sums up what this book is about. I love that. I love that. days since I last updated you guys, and I did finish reading Blood Debts on my Kindle. You guys, I literally devoured that book. Like the last time that I updated you guys, I actually finished that book that day. I just haven't updated you guys because I have been sick and congested, but I am feeling a lot better, so that's good. Let me tell you about Blood Debts, okay? So I am someone who loves like the Vampire Diaries TV show. I also love the originals. I love Mayfair Witches. I love American Horror Story Cult, the cult version of that, American Horror Story Cult. Now, can you guys tell me what all of these have in common? That is right, they're all set in New Orleans, and something about just movies, TV shows, or books set in New Orleans, that city is so magical to me, and whenever it is portrayed on a TV show, a movie, or a book, the atmosphere just feels so full of wonder, mysticism, and magic, and that is exactly what I thought about Blood Debts. The magic system on there was great. You have witches who draw power from the sun, moon, and also there's a thing called generational magic. You have mages and necromancers who bring back the dead and talk to the dead. But overall, the story is sort of a murder mystery story. Our two main characters are trying to find out who murdered their father, and in that doing, they dethroned the main character's mothers, who was the queen of the magic system in this world in New Orleans. Another thing that I was a huge fan of, okay, we all know I am a sucker for witches. I love anything to do with witches. I am fascinated with witches, witch movies, witch shows, witchy books, everything that has to do with witches I love. And the one thing that I absolutely loved about Blood Debt is that the main characters are all BIPOC. They are Black, they are Afro-Latinas, they are Latinas, and I really loved to see that representation. All of the like witchy movies and TV shows that I absolutely adore, though they do have a diverse cast, the main characters is not always a BIPOC character. And I love that this book really centered BIPOC voices and BIPOC characters. It was just so amazing. I really enjoyed it. I highly recommend it if you're also a fan of Vampire Diaries, the originals, Mayfair Witches, Interview with a Vampire. If you love a setting that is based in a very magical city with a lot of cultural history, then I highly recommend Blood Debts, because you really feel that atmosphere, that same New Orleans atmosphere in Blood Debts. Also, the prequel to Blood Debts, I think it's called Blood Justice, is actually coming out this year in April. I am super excited. I read Blood Debts on my Kindle. I borrowed it from Libby and I transferred it to my Kindle, but I'm definitely going to collect the books because it's going to be an all-time favorite witchy book for me. So I finished reading that, friends, and I got started last night on That Time I Got Drunk and Saved a Demon by Kimberly Lemming. You guys, I only got a chapter in because I started this pretty late and then I started getting tired, and it is hilarious already. I have been laughing out loud and I'm having a good time. I don't have much of an opinion on it besides that I've been laughing but I've been enjoying it. I feel like the language is very much approachable, like it's very nonchalant and very easily digestible. I feel like I'm talking to a friend because of the language on here. So it's just a very relaxing type of language on here, and I really enjoy that personally, especially for what this kind of, like, I understand what the author's trying to do to make you feel comfortable while reading this. And I think that goes very well with what this story is. So far I am enjoying it. I'm hoping to get more, make more of a dent on this tonight or later on today. So yeah, so that is all I have for you guys right now. I will update you guys soon when I have made more of a dent on this and let you all know how's it going. listening to Ali Hazelwood's new book, and that is Bride. I have been listening to the audiobook on Libby. I had put a hold on this like maybe 2 weeks ago, and I was surprised that this came up very fast for me because this is a new release, and usually for new releases they're not available like on Libby literally weeks later. So this became available and I decided to start listening to it right away, and yesterday I listened to a huge chunk of this. This I believe is 12 hours long and I am already 5 hours in. I have never read anything by Ali Hazelwood, and I can see the hype around this author because the writing style is funny. It is so funny. I feel like the way that Ali Hazelwood writes is in a way that you can really get to know the characters. There's a lot of dialogue, so you really get to understand where our main character is coming from. And even though this is only from one person's POV, I am really loving that at the beginning of each chapter you get sort of like the thoughts of the guy's point of view, but it's just like in a sentence or two. So you're getting an idea of what the guy is thinking about in the beginning of each chapter. And that is just so satisfying because even though we don't have a dual POV, you're still getting something from the other person. If you're unfamiliar with what Bride is about, Bride, we're following our main character whose name is Misery, and Misery is a vampire, and Misery gets sent off to go live with the werewolves because her father is trying to make some sort of alliance with the werewolves. But for the longest time Misery has lived in the human world, and she had to do that because there's like some sort of pact that the vampires had with the humans where they would sort of give one of their kind to go live with the humans, and the humans would give one of their kind to go live with the vampires in order to keep some sort of peace between them, that no harm would come to that species or human or vampire. So Misery has lived with the humans for such a long time. She made a best friend since she was young, and her best friend all of a sudden goes missing. And when her father gives her this proposal to go and marry off a werewolf for another peace treaty, Misery chooses to, but because it's in her convenience to go and do so, and it's tied to the sudden disappearance of her best friend. So we're following Misery sort of slowly falling for this werewolf and also trying to uncover what happened to her best friend. So far it's hilarious, it's funny. I love how it is set in a contemporary world, but also it has to do with vampires and werewolves. Honestly guys, I am having such a good time with these books. I feel like I've been reading some amazing books already in February. So I am hoping I can finish off Bride today. I do have to go run some errands. I just finished filming another video this morning for YouTube, and I am hoping I can sit on my desk for a little bit and work on some stuff while I finish off Bride. So I will get back to you guys when I have finished Bride. It's been a minute since I have updated you guys, and as you can tell from my voice, I am feeling a lot better. Oh my gosh, I was sick for a little over a week, and then shortly after, my husband got sick, so we were both sick. Yesterday I took the time to clean our entire space and just get everything nice and clean and disinfected because we're both feeling a lot better. But during that time, I was able to get through some books. I wasn't able to do a lot of updating here on this vlog because I lost my voice and I just had the sniffles and I just didn't have the energy. All I wanted to do was sit in my couch or in bed and just read, which that is exactly what I did. Needless to say, I am convinced that books were the reason why I got better. Books are the cure of a cold. Take my advice for it. So I think I haven't updated you guys since I last read Blood Debts, but since that time, I did finish Bride by Ali Hazelwood, and I also finished That Time I Got Drunk and Saved a Demon by Kimberly Lemming. Oh my gosh, you guys, these were great books to start off February with. But let's jump into Bride by Ali Hazelwood. That was the book that I started reading right after Blood Debts. I'm looking at my computer over here because I have some notes. So I've never read anything by Ali Hazelwood. This was my first Ali Hazelwood book. I think she mostly writes contemporary romance novels, and this was her first fantasy romance novel. When I first read about the synopsis, it sounded interesting. I love anything that has to do with werewolves and vampires, and this book is just about that. It has a world where there's humans and werewolves and vampires sort of not living in harmony together, but living amongst each other. So this is a fantasy novel that is set in the Omegaverse. And if you're unfamiliar with the Omegaverse, because I had to do some research on it, I was bamboozled about what I found, especially when I found out what the heck nodding is. I am not going to explain in this video what nodding is. So if you want to know what nodding is, which there's a big premise of that in this book, do some research, okay? I'm not going to mention that, but that goes down in this book, okay? That goes down. That's all I'm going to say. So in this story, we are following a vampire named Misery, and Misery has to marry a werewolf. But not just any werewolf. This is an alpha werewolf. In this world, different creatures marry other creatures, or they're supposed to go live with them as a way to keep peace in this realm. Because if any harm comes to that other creature who is living with the other creatures, then obviously there'll be a war. So in order to keep peace, everyone is supposed to keep a different creature with them, keep them safe, so there could be peace everywhere. So Misery was doing that for the humans at first. She went to go live with the humans as a way to ensure a sort of pact between the vampires and the humans. But now Misery has to go and marry a werewolf in order to keep peace between the vampires and the werewolves. Now Misery is against this, but the only reason why she agrees to this is because the werewolf that she is set to marry could actually be a clue into a sudden disappearance of her best friend. Of course, when she marries this werewolf, they end up connecting in a whole different other level. Misery gets very attached to our alpha's little sister, which is kind of cute. I actually really love that. So once they fall for each other, of course, there are some truths that end up being revealed. The overall storyline was okay. I wouldn't say that it was a very interesting premise, but I can see all the hype around Ali Hazelwood's writing style. This storyline did have a lot of banter. It was funny. It was quirky. There is some spice elements to this. I also really love that it has some sort of mystery elements in there. I was reading through the Goodreads reviews comments, and someone out there said that this story was kind of like bad fan fiction of Twilight. I'm not gonna say I agree or disagree, but let me say something. I think sometimes it is okay to read like that very cheesy book, that very quirky and reminds you of the books that you used to read when you were 13 kind of books. Now, I did listen to the narrated version of this. I listened to this in audiobook format, and the narrator actually did a really good job. I feel like the narrator did such a great job during those humorous moments. I'm not sure if I would have liked or had a good experience or really enjoyed the book the way I did through the audiobook format if I had read the book physically. My only problem with this book was that there wasn't a lot of world building. You didn't really get a full understanding of the politics in this world and how these treaties were made amongst the humans, the wolves, and the vampires. At least I didn't really fully understand that. It is set in a contemporary world, so it is like in today's world. Our vampire is very
techie, which was actually pretty funny. I wouldn't say it's my favorite. I don't really like contemporary reads that much, but it did work for this type of storyline in my opinion. With that being said, I am unsure if I would read anything else from Ali Hazelwood unless it is also fantasy, but I really enjoyed her writing style. It was funny, it was quirky, it makes her books very easily likable because of her writing style. I would say that this book is about a 3.5 or 4 stars for me. It was definitely up there. The storyline was funny and I had a good time with it. Now, the next book that I read was That Time I Got Drunk and Saved a Demon by Kimberly Lemming, and you guys, this was funny. If you don't know what That Time I Got Drunk and Saved a Demon is about, this follows our main character whose name is Cinnamon, and Cinnamon is a spice farmer. Her and her family harvest cinnamon, and all that Cinnamon wants to do is expand the spice farm and live a happy little cozy life being left alone, until one day she's coming home from a day of having a little too much to drink, and she ends up being startled by this demon that falls from the sky apparently. And in this world, demons are not light. In this world, demons are like plagues to this world. They're evil, they're cruel, and they're just not good creatures. So of course, Cinnamon, when she came across this demon, she was startled, but then the demon ended up explaining to her that he is here because he is trying to find this evil witch that imprisoned his people, and he needs help locating her. And this witch ends up being this goddess, or at least she's portraying to be a goddess, and she has tricked all of the humans in this world into praising her. So this demon ends up explaining all of this to Cinnamon, and Cinnamon ends up agreeing to helping him. So she goes on a quest with this demon to try and locate the witch, and of course, in this long journey, they end up falling for each other. Now, I absolutely loved reading about Cinnamon. She is fearless. She has that I don't give up type of attitude. She has that leave me alone type of attitude. I can take care of myself type of attitude. There were some very funny moments that really portrayed that type of attitude that she holds that I was just cracking up. Now the demon you can tell has like a big ego. You can tell by the way he talks to her and just his gestures around her. So it was funny seeing these two characters sort of fall for each other. The spice in this book, I feel like it's a little bit more spicier in this book. It's more kinky, more controlling than how it was in Bride. Overall, I really love the premise in this book because you have your main character who falls for a sort of villain, or that sort of starts off like he's a villain, and you still don't get that question answered towards the end of the book. Well, was he a villain? He treats our main character well. You can tell he loves her and he's like obsessed with her, but then again, he has no problem with burning down villages and just people. So you have that sort of persona of your main character who falls for like the bad boy. I also really enjoyed Kimberly Lemming's writing style. It was very welcoming and very easily consumable. It was subtle and chill. It sort of felt like you were reading a book by a friend. You know, it had like that slang that I was very familiar with. There wasn't any like big old words that I just had trouble pronouncing, and it was just very welcoming. I loved her writing style. It was funny, it was cozy, it was kinky, it was fiery, it was funny, it was fierce. Overall, I really enjoyed it. I think this book for sure is like a 4.5 for me. Overall, I felt like I had some really good successful books that were funny, that were magical, that were quirky, and apparently they heal colds because I am feeling a lot much better. I really hope that you enjoyed this reading vlog, friends. If you like this type of content from me, please remember to like, subscribe, engage with my videos, as that would really help out my channel. If you would also like to be part of a cozy little book club, I have a cozy little book club via Patreon that is called Spellbound Manor, and as Spellbound Manor, we host the Story Keepers Book Club Society. Currently, we are reading for this month Legendborn and Feybound, and I am so excited for those books. I have yet to start them, but I already got one. I need to go get the other one. And I'm also gonna film the entire process with my patrons, and we're just gonna have a good old time. So if you wanna be part of a cozy little book club, then feel free to check out my Patreon. I will have that link down below. Thank you so much for your support, friends. I really appreciate you. I will leave you with our yearly quote, and that is to remember that you can create the life that you want, friend, because you so deserve it. Until then, friends, take care. I will see you soon. Bye for now.